As dawn breaks, the gold-tinted waters of the Red Sea veil a magical world, teeming with life and color. Whilst the mystifying landscape of the eastern desert stretches to meet the splendor of the sea. This intriguing region of desert and sea, lying to the east of the immortal Nile Valley, possesses unique environments which have evolved over hundreds of millions of years. Our journey will take us through remote mountain ranges, dissected by mystifying wadis, among isolated people with rich cultural backgrounds, seemingly untouched by time, into the mysterious and rarely seen power and beauty of this desert sea region. The story of this desert sea unfolded eons ago. Powerful internal forces have been shaping the Earth's crust, moving land masses, forming lofty mountain chains and creating deep gorges. As with the Red Sea Rift, which became inundated by marine waters. When all was quiet, new environments took hold, in which vegetation adapted and a new cycle of life began, resulting in today's diverse habitats. Throughout recorded time, the Red Sea has formed an important route for trade. It's believed that from here, at Wadi Gazus, Queen Hatshepsut sent her famous expedition to Punt to bring back gold, ebony, and ivory. Here, at Gebel Abrak, lie the ruins of one of the Roman forts that safeguarded the trade routes. The ancients exploited both land and sea in this fascinating region. And here, at Gebel El Dokhan, imperial porphyry, nicknamed Stone of the Emperors, was quarried and transported all the way to Rome to build palaces and embellish imperial buildings. Large settlements were built in the desert to exploit the riches. Here, at Mons Claudianus, one of the most famous granites of the eastern desert was quarried. Huge columns were made and transported hundreds of kilometers across rugged terrain to build elaborate temples. Precious stones were also quarried. Emeralds were mined here at Soket, where exotic temples remain witness to a glorious past. Precious metals like gold have also been mined from ancient to modern times. It's difficult to imagine or believe that one of the world's harshest and driest deserts once enjoyed a kinder climate with generous rainfall. But there's plenty of evidence to prove that just 10,000 years ago, this landscape was not much different from what we can find in today's African savannas. Prehistoric rock art documents scenes of a wetter climate, when man domesticated grazing livestock. Elephants, giraffes and ostriches, among other wildlife, were once abundant in the wadis of the eastern desert. The Red Sea is flanked on the west by a spine of towering mountains which reach over 2,000 meters, as at the summit of Gebel Shayeb el-Benet. The higher reaches of these mountains receive more rain than the surrounding desert, allowing a variety of plants and animals to thrive. The mysterious rocky fortress of Gebel Elba in the extreme southeast of Egypt is often shrouded in clouds, which condense at its north-facing slope, creating what's called a mist oasis. Here, at the Elba Protectorate, formidable peaks and sandy wadis form an ever-varying vista. High on the peaks grow the dramatic ombed trees. In this harsh environment live the Bishari people, who've inhabited this region for thousands of years. They know and love every part of it. These peaks are the home of the Nubian ibex, which roams here with confidence and experience, carefully calculating every move it makes, making sure it's never too far from the water sources it needs for survival. Nubian wild asses are also sure-footed athletes in the rocky terrain. These animals have become semi-domesticated and have hybridized with their tame counterparts. The regal Barbary sheep still lives in these mountains. It was chaotically hunted and was thought to be extinct. But in 1998, our film crew caught a rare glimpse of this magnificent animal. The whitewash on these rocks is in fact the residue expelled by a colony of hyrax. They live in rocky crevices and caves, descending to feed among the thorny trees. Meanwhile, the stylish wheatear chases after its food of insects. Camouflage is essential for the survival of many desert dwellers. This Nubian nightjar is a master of disguise. However, the sand partridge gives away its cover as it darts between the rocks. The male has white plumage on his cheeks and is more colourful than the female. Male agamas also flaunt their colours, as they become shockingly vivid during the breeding season. This lizard inhabits rocky deserts, all the way from Egypt to Somalia. thundering rains and flash floods that fell over these mountains worked over millennia to carve out scenic wadis, a complex network of waterways which dissect the now arid landscape of the eastern desert. Today, these winding wadis stand dry, waiting patiently for a passing cloud that might provide a rare burst of rain, bringing life to this hyper-arid wilderness. Acacia trees are an emblem of the wadis. They endure in areas that receive very little rain. They're a source of shelter and nourishment for a large array of desert dwellers. Dense thickets of arak are also found in wadis. The branches of this plant are used by the local people as toothbrushes, whilst it provides a haven for wildlife. This unique tree is named Oshar by the Bedouins. Its fleshy leaves secrete a poisonous milky fluid. The delicate geometrical pattern of the flowers seems to conceal the toxic nature of the plant. Sand grouse gather to rest in the shade. Any shade plays a crucial role in the desert as protection from the scorching sun. Sometimes animals compete for the best shady spots. Here, a male gazelle is resting in the shade. Another tries to share his spot. However, gazelle are noted for their beauty and elegance. They are also nocturnal and come out to graze under the cover of darkness. Sadly, these graceful creatures are threatened by illegal hunting. Herds of camels journey from Sudan through the inhospitable terrain. Those that do not endure collapse and litter the desert floor. It's not long before the vultures clean the ground from their remains. Lappet-faced vultures are icons of the desert wilderness. They are the largest of Africa's raptors, boasting wingspans of nearly 3 meters. Here are the Egyptian vultures coming to join the feast. The juvenile is darker in color, but the same size as its elders. Its dark plumage lightens progressively to that of the adults. The Saharan sand snake is a rear-fanged snake that is mildly poisonous. Masters of camouflage, horned vipers are extremely venomous and should be avoided. Jan's cliff racer, on the other hand, is a docile snake. It's long and slender and moves at lightning speed. All snakes are important components of the ecosystem and should be left in peace. The ornate spiny-tailed lizard is another mysterious dweller of the wadis. Its ornate appearance and large size makes it probably the most sought-after reptile in Egypt for the illegal wildlife trade. About 50 kilometers south of Marsa Alam, a wadi of unique beauty opens out onto the great coastal plain. It's here, at Wadi el-Gemer, that an explosion of flora starkly borders the sea. Close to the shore, flowing freshwater springs blend with the sea, like miniature deltas, supporting a further diversity of life. Between the land and the crystal-clear waters of the Red Sea lie the mangroves, a vital part of the coastal environment. They grow in the salty water, in scattered spots along the Red Sea coast. These small trees are able to absorb the salty water, excreting the salt on their leaves. Their thickets are nurseries for juvenile marine creatures, and they provide nesting sites for birds, like this graceful reef heron. It's therefore hard to believe that these comical chicks will grow up to be like their elegant parents. Ospreys are the uncontested lords of the coast. The population of ospreys along the Egyptian Red Sea is considered to be second in number only to that of the United States. However, their habitat is threatened by ever-growing coastal developments. The osprey is a fish-eating bird of prey and builds huge nests of sticks on the ground, or on top of mangroves, or even on fishermen's shacks. At the meeting point of sea and desert, the contrast between the profusion of life that lurks below the water's surface and the austerity of desert is dramatic. Here are the intertidal zones. When the tide is out, many creatures, such as this brittle star, lie in shallow pools, vulnerable to hungry birds. Among the amazing creatures that live on the seashore are the hermit crabs, which seem destined to compete with seagulls for food. They clean every scrap of organic material off the beach and then disappear when all is pristine. At night they come out in force. In their borrowed shells, they look like an army of tiny soldiers wearing oversized helmets. The shallows of the intertidal zones shelter many of the reef's youngsters. Here a colourful juvenile eel, there a shy baby octopus. This upside-down jellyfish is not showing off its perfectly circular shape. It normally lies on its back, gathering food with the tentacles that surround its mouth. The coral reefs are the most important of marine ecosystems, and it's here that an enormous range of creatures can be seen. Tiny crustaceans, colourful invertebrates, and brilliantly coloured fishes, both large and small. Coral reefs are living creatures. The coral reef colonies are formed by a variety of minute creatures called polyps. These tiny polyps excrete a calcareous skeleton. Symbiotic algae grow along with the coral, and it's on these algae that many of the polyps feed, reproducing over hundreds of years to form huge and diverse reef systems, teeming with life and splendor. On and around the reefs are many creatures that depend on it for sustenance and protection. The two-bar anemone fish lives in a symbiotic relationship with this large anemone. These fish cover themselves with a protective mucus, making them immune to the anemone's sting. These little brown and white half and half chromies are often referred to as chocolate dips for their distinctive pattern, whilst the artistic colour pattern of the Picasso triggerfish gives it its name. The yellow saddle goatfish is another colourful fish. This adolescent black and white snapper will become duller in colour upon maturity, but the Arabian snapper remains among the more colourful group of snappers. On the other hand, the stunning beauty of the lionfish declares its danger. It can deliver an agonizing sting with its graceful fins. The stonefish is a master of disguise and is extremely dangerous. If stepped on, its strong, sharp fin can deliver a painful sting, which could be fatal. These tiny cleaner wrasse perform the service of grooming, despite the size of their client. This is another, but larger species of wrasse, the humphead wrasse, better known as Napoleon. It can grow up to 2 meters. Here it relaxes on the seabed. The huge manta ray is also known as the devilfish due to the horn-like fins on each side of its mouth. However, manta rays are quite harmless and feed on plankton. Also, contrary to its rather fierce reputation, the octopus is a shy and retiring creature. However, moray eels are alarming predators. They lie in wait to dash out of their lairs and sink their teeth into passing prey. Likewise, this lizardfish sits quietly, waiting to pounce on any small fish that gets too close. The electric ray can deliver an unpleasant electric shock. It hides itself in the sand, ready to trap unwary prey. Sharks, like this hammerhead, are fearsome predators and are positioned at the top of the food chain. In contrast, Marine turtles are gentle creatures. They are highly endangered and should not be disturbed. Dolphins are everyone's favorite animal. They are the most abundant marine mammals in the Red Sea and are often seen playing around boats. There are more than 40 islands in the Egyptian Red Sea waters, all of which are uninhabited. This makes them safe havens as nesting grounds of globally endangered sea turtles and shorebirds. These islands are most vulnerable to man's meddling, and consequently 22 islands are protected by the Egyptian Environmental Affairs Agency. Tranquil beauty abounds on the islands, which are among the last pristine and unspoiled spots on Earth. Egypt's Red Sea islands are very important breeding sites for many bird species, like the sooty gull. The Red Sea is also home to one of the world's most handsome gulls, the white-eyed gull, which is found nowhere else. More than 30% of the total population breeds in these islands. Their chicks conceal themselves in rocky crevices. Here, at Sayal Island, a colony of bridled terns gracefully fills the sky as if they are the final brushstrokes on an exquisite painting. Their graceful courtship adds even more to their charm. This island is named el-Sheikh. Legend says that a virtuous sheikh who died at sea was buried on this island, giving it its name. Here, a sooty falcon has laid its eggs. Not only is the sooty falcon a master of the air, but it's also a master strategist, nesting in the autumn to benefit from the huge numbers of small migrants that fly through from Europe, upon which it feeds its young. Known to the local people simply as El Gabal, the legendary island of Zabagad protrudes from the emptiness of the Red Sea depths. Standing alone and out of reach, it's a virgin paradise. On these sandy beaches are the largest concentrations of sea turtle nesting sites in Egypt. Brown boobies are agile gliders, skimming over the deep waters of the Red Sea. But on land, well, it's a different story. Their webbed feet, waterproof plumage, and strong bills give them an edge in diving after fish. These snow-white, cute and fluffy chicks reside amongst their family's white droppings, which effectively camouflages them from predators. Today, these fragile ecosystems, which sustain the economic backbone of the region, are under great pressures exerted by the fairly recent boom in touristic development and other activities, which will have a dire impact on the environment if not managed in a sustainable manner. Tourists from all over the globe come to the Egyptian Red Sea to enjoy its beaches, dive amongst its reefs, and explore its deserts, providing a vital economic resource for the country.
The real challenge we are facing is how to conserve the natural resources of Egypt, at the same time linking the natural protectorates with the local economy. Rangers are considered the front line to protect and conserve these valuable resources of Egypt.
Park rangers perform a variety of tasks. They patrol both land and sea to safeguard the environment from pollution and other threats, monitoring dive sites and checking the health of mangroves. They install and maintain mooring systems to protect the reef and periodically monitor its well-being. They also carry out technical examinations of shipwrecks to assess damage to the reef. This well-trained ranger is monitoring the condition of the breeding populations of seabirds. However, the globally endangered sea turtles are his obsession. He continuously scouts their habitats, collecting data and information on these docile yet elusive creatures.
We did a lot of instruction which prevent destruction of the environment, like what we see here. Don't feed fishes, don't catch fish with the harpoon, don't touch the coral, don't throw any garbage at the sea, don't collect any shells or fossils, don't get out from the tracks, don't throw the anchors, and this is our logo, National Parks of Egypt.
This bird,
Yes,
dangerous bird.
this is very dangerous. This is a lizard. I don't know. I can see it.
I want all the kids to collect the trash, starting from that area over there. Thank you.
Give my bag!